James. It's a busy time of year for the coach. Can you take us through the trade period and how we're sort of looking at the moment?
Yeah, it is a busy time of year. Trade day, obviously, the main day started yesterday when all the clubs met, and Adrian Dodoro and his team and Rob Kerr went and sorted that out yesterday. There's a lot of exciting opportunities out there for us. I think, obviously, there's been a lot of speculation about our players and where they're at, and we're working through that at the moment. But we certainly hope to add some quality players to our list if that opportunity arises.
Two guys that have sort of been brought up a bit in the media in the last 24 hours or so is Ben Hallett and Jason Winderlich. Do you have sort of any update for the fans on those two?
Oh, no definitive update. I mean, they're both very important players for us. We'd like to keep both Jason and Ben at the club, and Jason's been at the club a long time and a very much loved player at the club by the supporters and by the players and the staff. So he's one that we'll talk through over the next few days and try and see where he's at. But we'd love him to stay, obviously, and Ben the same. Ben's obviously been here a while as well, and from West Australia. And I think hopefully with Ben we'll be able to do something sooner rather than later.
Paddy Ryder signalled his intention to move to Port Adelaide. The club's sort of willing to work on that, but we want something good in response. Is that sort of where it's at? Yeah,
I think the where AFL football's at is that players want to move and stay and go between different clubs. And we obviously, if a player wants to leave, we'll look at that opportunity for them to leave. But it'd have to be a good deal for us. Otherwise, Paddy will stay an Essendon player. I think, as again with the players who've been here a while, the supporters love Paddy Ryder. I think the club genuinely has a strong affection towards Paddy, and we think we got some really good football out of him over the last few years. So we're keen for him to stay, but if an opportunity comes up with another club that is good for our club, we'll look at it. But otherwise, he's a required player.
Obviously, beyond the trade period and adding talent there's then the draft and adding some youngsters. How much sort of do you have to do with that, and how much are you across what's out there at the moment to sort of look at recruiting come late November?
Yeah, so we've been looking through tapes for a few weeks now, and the recruiting department's obviously been going to every game around the country, and they've compiled a pretty good list of kids to have a look at in the draft. It's probably a bit over a month away now that this draft, so we'll be narrowing down our focus over the next few weeks to what we need, and through the trade period work out how many picks we need and how many guys we want. But it's a pretty exciting time for a club when you bring in new players to your football club.
Do you sort of feel there's anything on our list that any holes that we need to fill at the moment, or you sort of feel our list is in pretty good shape?
Oh, there's no doubt we need to obviously bring in another ruckman. I think that we're sort of with Tommy and Paddy, and obviously with Paddy maybe potentially not being here, there's certainly some work we need to do around our ruck stocks, and Joey, that allows Joey to stay up forward. So we'll be looking at that area. I think you're always looking for young midfielders to come through and add some depth. Some of our more senior guys are getting a little bit older, so we have to make sure that we're doing the right thing in regenerating our list, and young midfielders are always good to have.
What about, that's on the field with the players, what about off the field with the coaching staff? There's Simon Goodwin left to join Melbourne. Yep. Are we looking at replacing him at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. We've sort of set up an interview process. I know the guys are sort of going through names at the moment and setting out to sort of get a short list that we can start interviewing several candidates for that job. And Simon was a fantastic person to have here at the club. Terrific coach, and did a great job. But the exciting thing is you get to bring in a new person, new talent, new ideas, and we're going into that process at the moment. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have a pretty good announcement.
Nathan Bassett's a guy that you didn't have a lot to do with not being here last year, but you have since you've come back to the club. How have you found him around the group?
Really good. Yeah, I didn't know a lot about Nathan at all. Obviously, I'd seen him play football, but and heard he had a good reputation as a coach over in South Australia. So when he was appointed, I was excited that he was going to be here, and looking forward to working with him this year. I think he's found AFL football a little bit different to what he had back in Adelaide, but excited to work with him.
Back on the track and looking ahead to the guys' return in sort of November, what is the plans for this off-season? The last few years, the groups have gone to Boulder. Will we be doing altitude training, or what are we sort of looking at?
And we won't do a big main group of altitude training. We'll have a very small, probably 4 or 5 guys. We'll go over to Colorado late in December, just a very small group. But the main squad will come in 2 parts. First to 4-year players will head in about the 7th of November, and I think 10, 12 days later, the older guys come in. we'll stay. We've got a great new facility. We've got the best facility in Australia, so we're going to base ourselves here for 3 or 4 months and train pretty hard. So I think it'll be a pretty meat and potatoes pre-season, but it'll be one where we work on all the things that we need to work on and get them in the condition that they can really perform throughout the year.
One guy that I know is looking forward to joining the group is Connor McKenna. Joined the club last week. It must be a really exciting sort of announcement for the club.
Definitely, the reputation he has from the people over in Ireland, the people who've seen him play, is huge. And without putting too much pressure on him, I think that in terms of the Irish experiment, it's no longer an experiment. I mean, there's so many players now have come over here and fitted into AFL football, and not just been average footballers, but been outstanding AFL footballers. And the hand-eye coordination, the ability to kick, but then that physical capability is very important, and we think that Connor has all those attributes, and we're very excited about welcoming him here in a few months.
James, thanks for the update, and we'll chat more in the pre-season.
Thanks very much.